In today's video, I'm going to be providing my opinion of how useful or not useful at all I think each Fortnite weapon and item is at this point in the season. Now, we are, about a month and a half, 2 months into the season, so I can provide, an opinion that's based in, actually using each of the items quite a bit. So this isn't going to be a hasty decision by any means. This is items that we've been using for quite some time now. There are some newer items that we could hold some judgment on, but I'm going to judge everything. And we are going to start off with the Hollow Twister Assault Rifle. This is easily the best assault rifle in the game, in my opinion. Anytime you can have a scope on any of the assault rifles, it's going to make it a lot easier to use. The Ranger Assault Rifle may be better from extreme range, but if you're just going to have an assault rifle in your inventory, you want the Hollow Twister. So this is one of those guns that you're always going to pick up if you see it. If you have a legendary one, you're not dropping it for anything unless you're, like crazy with the Ranger. And then the Elemental Chest is a great place to find some new weapons that we can review here. The Oni Shotgun, it's not a terrible shotgun. It's great from range. I think I would rather have this than the shotgun. It's the Auto Shotgun. It's very similar to the drum. This is pretty good when you're fighting someone who's, about medium range. It's definitely not the best shotgun in the game, which we will get to, but I'd probably put it as the second best shotgun at this point. And then the other items / weapons we have here, porta bunkers. As you all know, I am an advocate of porta bunkers. They don't always fit into your inventory, and that's okay, especially with the Typhoon Blade taking up an inventory slot most of the time. But if you can, pick up porta bunkers, especially in zero build. There's no reason to not have porta bunkers with you, unless you have a Typhoon Blade, like I said, and you're an extremely aggressive player. But if you're buns like I am, porta bunkers are your best friend. And then the Void Oni Mask, the Void Oni Mask is a pretty good item, / movement item. It's definitely not bad. It's better than a lot of movement items other seasons. I'd rather have this than the Kinetic Blade. It's really cool in how it operates. It's just the Typhoon Blade is so overpowered with what you can do with it. There's just no reason to not pick it up if you find one. So in the grand scheme of Fortnite, I think the Void Oni Mask is one of the better movement items ever added. But in this season specifically, you cannot top the Typhoon Blade. It's probably, a top 3 movement item ever added. So in all, Void Oni Mask, pretty good. Just wrong season to try to be the best. And then we got to look at our heals here. We got small shield potions or minis. They've always been in the game. They're always going to be kind of like one of the goats of heals. And chug splashes. Probably the goat of heals. Maybe chili chugs. You could say like a chug cannon or a chug jug or maybe... I honestly don't know. The chug splashes are just classic. They're easy to use, quick. There's certainly other better heals, but nothing quite like the chug splashes. Do you have anything new for me to provide my opinion on here? The Surge Fire SMG. This SMG is not something I ever pick up. Maybe it's really good. I'm not hip to the times of the great SMGs. I think they're all kind of useless in the grand scheme of things. It's definitely my second favorite SMG of the season. Like I said, anything that has a scope, I'm going to pick up before a different gun. So this not having a scope kind of sucks. I know it does get faster the more you shoot it, which can be really good, especially if you're close range. Not having a scope, it just holds it back, in my opinion. And then we move on to the Hunting Rifle, which I thought was terrible to start the season. But the more time passes, it's not that bad, to be completely honest. If you can get a headshot, it's crazy. I swear there are some people who are goated with the Hunting Rifle, and I get clipped constantly by these people. When I try to use it, all I can get is 90 body shots. So, if you know how to use a Hunting Rifle, especially this one, it's amazing. But if you don't, it still shoots like a limp noodle, and I stand by that. But we'll move on to the next guns we find. And while I have a fishing rod here, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They either need to do something about fishing to make it useful, or get rid of fishing as a whole. The mechanic is never used. All you can get now is shield fish. And there's only ever like 3 fish in the game. I loved when they had the season when there was tons of different fish. They did different things. You could even catch a golden fish trophy that you could kill people with. That was amazing. If you're going to have a mechanic, don't just push it to the side. Make it something that's useful. So just add different fishes that do different things. It's not that complicated. And maybe people will actually start using the fishing rods in the fishing mechanic. Oh, new item, shield bubble. I swear the shield bubble may be the most annoying item in Fortnite. Whenever I'm trying to kill someone, they just hop in a car and throw a shield bubble on it. And it really lends into this culture of running away from people in Fortnite, which I think is really annoying to deal with, especially when you already have so many movement items, like shockwaves and the Typhoon Blade and the Oni mask. So I don't love shield bubbles. I think they're really great as an item, but it just, the whole running away from me thing, I can't get over that part of it. I do think the shield bubbles are very useful in the fact that they do help people run away from me, but they're very annoying, as I had said. So my opinion of them, annoying. Oh, and then shockwaves. Shockwaves are definitely the third best movement item in the game right now. You could maybe say they're second. There's always a place for shockwaves. In your close range, you can use them to get away. Void Oni Mask, you can't really use it to get away if somebody's pushing you and you're in an enclosed space. So, depending on the scenario, they're second, third. I could see putting them in either spot in terms of movement items. But the shockwaves are kind of like all reliable at this point. They're the best version of the impulse grenade, where you don't take fall damage. So I can't imagine them ever getting rid of shockwaves from a season for too long. I do love elemental chests. I wish Fortnite would do this where they have more different types of chests. I think it's a very simple thing to do. You can add different loot depending on the chest. So hopefully in the future they continue having different types of chests, like elemental, or just theme them to the season. Have maybe 3 or 4 different types of chests so you get different loot. Have each have its own spawn rate. I think it really mixes up the gameplay, and it prevents just the staleness of getting normal chests over and over again. The boons are actually really cool in that they're something that changes up the gameplay. They're sort of like perks. They're not OP by any means, so I think they are better than medallions. So I hope in the future that Fortnite includes, maybe not boons, but something similar for each future season. Oh, water sprite. Best sprite by far. Great heals. It's honestly a great mechanic. The wind sprite, that guy sucks. They needed to fix him in some way, and they just left him be. And I'm always going to feel bad for him that he was that terrible. But he just was terrible. There's no better way to put it. You need to not touch my loot, sir. And then if we look at these shrines that were added into the game, I see what they were trying to do, but the shrines, at least in my opinion, were kind of garbage. You stand still way too long when you add it, and then the loot they give you is really not that useful. And the mechanic, it's just not a great mechanic added to the game, in my opinion. I do love when they try things like this, so by no means am I saying don't try things like this. Sometimes you do get good loot, like I did here, but the majority of the time I'm getting stuff that I don't use or just don't pick up. So I would say they sort of missed on this one, but I do love that they tried to add a new mechanic like that. And then the last two things that I'm going to bring up in this specific video, I will do more of these in the future since season's not over by any means, but there's always things to look at. These medallion that is at Demon's Dojo, I don't love the medallion. I love that it's not OP, but I just don't see the functionality of it, and I see a lot of times people just drop it because they don't want to be tracked, and it doesn't really do a whole ton. So not the best medallion in the world. Something I do love about this season is the amount of underground locations that they added. At this location here, on the edge of the map, there is an underground little area. If you go to Masked Meadows, the whole location has an underground area under it. If you go to Magic Mosses, there's secret rooms. If you go to Flooded Frogs, there's secret rooms. So just having those little things that people can look forward to finding, amazing. Simple to do. It's honestly been the best season ever for having those types of things. So if you want to see me do more, short opinion-based reviews of what's been added to Fortnite this season, let me know, and I'll do more of these in the future.